Look at you there, channeling your inner Di.
Hello, good day. Happy weeks,
Oh,
everybody.
what a start, Lizzie. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I just thought, it's more Sheila's mitts that I've noticed,
Oh,
but I
right.
thought, I was thinking, oh, what can I wear this week on the show? And thought, well, I'm gonna channel the judges. So I've got my lovely, hang on, get those in
Oh,
frame.
it looks
I've got my lovely
brilliant.
mittens with a bit of nice, hang on, it's all mirrored in a bit
Yeah,
of cabling and a few like mini bobbles and a bit of
yeah.
lace down there. And this one
I love the
is,
cuff. Show us the
yes,
cuff. Go out a
well,
bit.
it's just a nice and a tiny bit of cabling and
Oh,
bobbles. And then this one has got don't know if I can show you. I've got it all back to
where are
front.
you
I've got
going?
I've, I've got I've got this seam down here, and then
Oh, I can see it
I make
now.
one so the thumb kind of grows from out of that seam. So, and I couldn't decide, so I thought I'd wear both.
Uh,
And then
yeah, watch where
you
you
know,
put your head. Have someone's eye out.
watch out. Di loves a hair accessory, doesn't
Yeah.
she? So I was enjoying the judges this week. Anyway, Stuart,
Well,
what? Oh no, hang on. So fit check. Sorry, I'm
go on.
so excited to
You
be
are. I
chatting.
love it. Do it. You take it. Go on.
Just so I thought also because it's a bit nippy out there. So I've got my Lulu slipover petite knit, and this is such a sweet pattern because look, it's got this lovely
Oh, you've put some
sort of.
poppers on.
Well, it's buttons.
Are
This is a
they?
double knit button placket, which is so satisfying to knit.
Oh,
And
oh,
also,
don't get me on
hold on.
plackets. What would sewing be? Oh, oh,
Oh,
hi. You've got the whole look. Gah. Knit.
matching socks. So the thing is, I am channeling the judges because they are just
Abs.
a breath away from a whole suit plus
Yeah,
balaclava plus everything made
yeah.
of
Well,
wool.
look at my textured
I
that I've got on.
love yours. I love it.
This is hot off Irene's needles. This will be a shop sample. All shop samples
Ooh.
are done for me. And it's in the new Morris wool from the West Yorkshire Spinners.
Oh,
And
lovely.
look, can you
Oh,
see?
Stuart, it's so, so lovely. Irene, what a start. Hang
Isn't
on, I need a
she?
closer
Can
inspection.
you see the cables? Then these sort of chevrons here of knits and
Oh, it's just
pearls. And then the
beautiful.
really mini cables down there. It's
Yeah.
and this pattern is no one famous. In our knit natter,
Yes.
every now and again the ladies bring in loads of old magazines, knitting magazines. It could be the Knitter, it could be Simply Knitting and whatnot. And I
Yeah.
just sat there one lunchtime when I didn't have any customers, and I was looking through and ooh, he looks good in this V-neck. So it's out of a random magazine. So it's not
I
even,
love
like a
it.
celebrated designer. And I said to Irene, oh,
Yeah.
you've got to knit. You've got to knit with the new Morris wool. And look,
I
perfect
love it.
timing for texture week. So we are bang
Really
on
perfect.
trend.
And also your gym sessions have obviously been paying off because it's showing off a smart bicep there.
I'm trying to get my shoulders a bit bigger because that
Go on,
also.
give us a flex. Give us a flex. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, look, you're making me blush now. this is a a wool show.
Well,
Oh
you chose
dear.
the tank top.
Talking about comments that make us giggle like we are now, Joe from Manchester says, I enjoyed this week's show for week 4, but I'm a bit confused why a bee is considered an original idea but not a lion. Maybe it's because I'm in Manchester where it's law that every item has to have a bee on it.
Yeah, fair point. Even the beer.
Oh dear. And being a sewing bee yourself, ultimately you love
Yes.
bees, don't you?
Well, I do. I've got a little candle holder here with a bee on it that my friend bought me. I've got a pin cushion somewhere which is
Oh,
like a little beehive. Yeah, I'm
love it.
surrounded by them.
66K and Friends addresses the moaners. Listen to this. if I were
Oh
an
yes.
unkind person, and the jury is still out on this one, I might suggest that people are generating outrage for clicks and YouTube revenue because it does better than lovely people sitting around being nice. Which is ironic, given the game of Wall is all about lovely people sitting around being nice.
Well, it's a good point, isn't
Isn't
it?
it?
That's a very good point. Yeah. I was thinking a bit more about this actually this week about what we were chatting about, and I think, and I was talking to my fab knitting friend Jo,
Hey, Joe.
and she was talking about a YouTube thing that she'd seen, and I think um, she actually found it probably more positive than I did,
Okay.
in the sense that she was looking at it as a sort of constructive criticism point of view, and I think actually there is, fair enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's some constructive criticism out
Yeah.
there, and people who probably aren't fans of the show, but they're trying to sort of highlight what they would do better.
Yeah.
And I think actually it's fair enough, because like I said last week, we're not watching a beautiful knitting documentary that probably belongs on BBC 4
Yeah.
at like 11 p.m. We're watching a
Yeah.
game on mainstream telly. So
Absolutely.
that's the fallout. But I think actually there is an appetite for people to learn a bit more about Irene's gorgeous cables, for example.
Yes. And
So
I think, though, from my teaching background, remember me as a teacher, there is always that ability to improve and to develop and to move on.
mm,
And the producers will be looking, I'm sure, at all social media and taking on board different comments and going, oh, that's something we can perhaps could look at.
yeah,
Like we were saying, would just get a simple, straight on view of all the finished
yeah,
products.
yeah,
And they might go, do you know what? That's actually a constructive criticism. We could do better with that. And maybe they'll
yeah.
do it for series two. So there is always that notion that we do want to improve, or reflecting. That's good practice in general, isn't it? Reflecting on our work and
It
going,
really
what we
is.
could do
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's really good to, I think, game is one thing, but to sort of um, be on the side of the serious knitters
Yeah.
who have spent years and years and years making professional looking, learning how to make professional looking knits.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be nice if we saw, I was thinking about, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, I was comparing it to that jewelry
Oh,
show,
yes.
or
Yeah.
like, and it's that they're not making sort of crazy, silly things. They're making beautiful
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So there is a place for that, but it's just getting it all in balance, I suppose, isn't it?
That will come up in a comment after this. Let's just look at
Oh,
Bev,
okay.
who I notice. Bev, you've joined. You're a channel member for the wall patch. That's greatly appreciated. Bev goes, I think those wall hangings would be terrifying for young children. I'm not taking the show too seriously. Just very happy to see knitting on TV, and your unraveling adds to the enjoyment. Cheers, Bev.
Oh,
But
thank you,
this was
Bev.
the comment I wanted to come to.
Mm,
Stefan says this was my favourite episode so far, and explains a lot there in that message. But the bit that I wanted to sort of point at was they say the one thing I do find disappointing is the big knit challenge in general. Here they have the opportunity to show a bigger project as they are knitting together, but the challenges are so big that in the end it's
yeah,
still about speed knitting. Now, actually,
yes.
that's actually a very valid point.
It's a really
Could the
good
big
point.
knit when they're in a team, why does it have to be huge? Why can't it be
Yeah.
something small and something incredibly delicate where
Small and
where
perfect,
they don't
like
have to
like
rush
a,
so much to get it looking good,
yeah,
and it could look really good, like a small swatch, like we've got, all like your
I
mittens.
know. Oh,
That would be
yes,
stunning,
well,
wouldn't it?
a little sort of, but I wonder if this is a sort of a little sort of stress point, a cracking point where they're worried about making it fun and
Yes.
making it
Yeah.
mainstream and making it entertainment telly, and they sort of perhaps haven't quite got the balance right. But I suppose, let's just hold it all in the balance, and hope that there is a second series, and
Yeah.
hope that there's room for some little
I think
tweaks
you're
along the
right. And
way.
I think us as knitters and crocheters, maybe we just have to hang up our knitting needles and our crochet hooks whilst the show is on for a
Stick them
bit.
in our hair.
Right, let's see who we lost last week. We lost Dipti. There she is on the top row, so let's cover her up. We're now down to our final six, and
Yeah, final
there we
six.
are. We're into texture week. I'm going to save the prize wheel for the end of the show because I know people want to go
Right.
straight into it. They want to hear us. So if you
Let's kick
want
on
to
with
win
it.
prizes, we've got loads of delightful because we knew it was crochet week with
Oh,
all that
look at
wonderful
that.
stuff. We've got loads of amigurumi, very,
Yeah,
very
amazing.
topical. We're going to give
Yeah.
out loads of those. So we're going to be spinning the wheel lots and lots and lots. So jump, if you want to go and see, you can jump in the chapters on the YouTube timeline there, jump to the prize wheel. But we're going to talk about texture. And what that is for Texture Week. An interesting title. You know a lot about textures, I presume, with your sewing and your knitting
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's it's a lovely knitter's sort of heaven, isn't it,
Yeah.
to play around with textures and but also from the fabric side of it, um, you can just create all sorts of interesting effects out of one garment just by using a different texture fabric. But as we're talking about knitting, yeah, I suppose I've never done amigurumi, and so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But the cardigan thing, that's very close to things I've been thinking about and musing on.
I've got
But
some pictures here you've sent us. Can I show them?
oh, it's now the time. It's
Yeah.
now the moment,
Should we
Stuart.
go for it?
Okay, okay, shove them up. So
Look. Tell me
these,
about these.
so when I was preparing for the sewing bee, the made to measure on reduce, reuse, recycle week, and we had to make, I don't know if you remember, we had to make an outfit using
I do.
unwanted crochet
I
blankets.
do.
And I was, because for every made to measure, I just loved doing a big mood board and sketching. And this design, as displayed by Kendall Jenner here, what a babe. Um, this made it onto my mood board,
There's some
quite a
texture
large
there, isn't
picture
there?
of it. I just found it so
Yeah.
interesting, and the shape of it. I just found it so interesting, amongst a few other things, this was a major inspiration for the little red jacket that I made
Oh,
on the
wow.
show. I drafted my own pattern for that red
Yeah.
jacket, but I've also ever since I've had this fantasy that I've got some chunky yarn down here actually
Yeah.
somewhere to play with to see what I can come up with, mixing the pattern I did for my red jacket to get more of those textures from, I think it's a Burberry design, that one we've just seen. But, something always
It's
trumps
all
it. So
always, always.
maybe in the next 3 years I'll give it a go.
Okay,
But
let's go into challenge one then for this texture week. And it was the Amigurumi challenge. And I was like, oh, more crochet. This is because you tend to assume, and viewers might be shouting at me now, that amigurumi is not just crochet, but it does tend to lead heavily towards crochet. And that's in the
yeah.
whole commercial world with how patterns are printed and what we see under the amigurumi title.
Stuart, do you know what what it
I
actually means?
do, I
What the word,
do.
what does it mean?
And I was surprised they didn't show that, and Tom didn't
Yes,
say that because they have got more time. Now we're down to six contestants. I thought they could have
yes.
snuck in at least 30 seconds. So
Hmm.
amigurumi is from the Japanese word because that's where it came from. It's a Japanese form, and it's two bits. Ami is their word for knit and crochet, and
Right.
gurumi, I always try and remember it as I'm a guru in crochet. That's how to
Okay.
remember it. And the Gurumi comes from two words, and I've written the second one down because I didn't know the second one. The first one is kurumi, which is a translation of wrapping, and then nui gurumi, which is stuffed doll. So it's this idea,
Ah,
and it's knitting small stuffed animals, ideally,
okay.
but it has since developed to be stuffed toys, stuffed vegetables,
Yeah.
but there is something about it which is where I thought, well, it's got to be about stuffing and small. And then when the judges started to say, right, you're going to make your favorite food dish. Okay, I can understand that. Amigurumi food. I was already thinking, apples and pears and stuff. They want you to make it as real as possible, so real that they could eat it. It needs to be serious aragurumi, so no fun little smiley faces, which you often do get with amigurumi. You might have a broccoli. I
Yes.
think one of their things was broccoli or a big octopus, wasn't it, with a smiley face on. So they wanted
Yeah.
it serious. But this is the bit that got me, Lizzie. The judges said they're looking at a choice of stitches to create as much realism as possible. And I just thought, I don't know whether I necessarily agree with that. I know I just said 5 minutes ago that I've got to hang my crochet hook up and my knitting hook up.
Yeah.
But for me, that just really grated on me because it, in essence, aragurumi is small and you normally
Small.
use one stitch only, and in crochet that will be the double crochet or
Yeah.
single if you're an American, because
Yeah.
it's so small. And then you'd use a really small hook because when you stuff it, you don't want your stitches to spread and where you see the
No, show
stuffing
the stuff.
inside.
Yes, of
So I'm
course.
like, oh, but if I'm doing amigurumi, why would I use trebles or double trebles to suddenly then make it
Yes.
big and then the stuffing might be shown? But then I suddenly thought, well, maybe like Simon with his bacon, it's flat, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a stuffed toy. So I'm not too sure the amigurumi title fitted well with me. They could have just said knit and crochet food. That's all they had to say. What do
Well,
you think?
I didn't know that the word actually embodies that it is a stuffed thing.
Yeah.
So quite a few of those things weren't stuffed, were they, that
No,
they
and
made?
and the,
But also, what was I
And
going
then
to
when
say?
they didn't need to stuff them, they then got pulled up on that they should have been stuffed. But so I felt it was just a bit. Anyway, we'll get onto that when we
Yeah,
get
we
to the
will.
judges. But they had to
Just
go on.
one other thing
Yeah.
though that I thought, and this as we look at them all, this whole thing about it's got to look realistic.
Yes.
It's crochet and knitting. It's not going to look like a
No.
shiny pea or a streak of bacon.
Yeah.
And I found that quite problematic because
Yeah.
and there was a comment about somebody's was abstracted, and I
Oh,
just thought,
don't get me started on that comment. I'm not
oh,
gonna be a negative Nelly. I'm not.
no, but
But that did get. I've even written it down because it was a comment from Di, and I couldn't quite work out what she was saying there.
no,
But anyway, 12
we'll
hours,
get onto it.
and Tom said, "Let's get knitting." I know. Let's be positive here, everyone. They are,
Come
even
on.
though they're probably going to be crocheting. But anyway, shall we look at what they created because
Yes,
it still was amazing what they created. Here we go.
unbelievable.
It is. There we are. Six
Look
dishes.
at all.
Six amazing dishes in
Look at
12
it.
hours.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness.
I'm.
When you see them all like that, every week you do this, you put them all up together and it's just such a treat. I don't think I'd like to tuck into any of them.
Oh, really? Not a good fry up? I'd like the fry up.
Well, you'd need quite a bit of ketchup to get all that yarn down.
Oh, dear. But when you look at those and you think, wow, especially Simon, considering he wasn't much of a crocheter before the show started, and he's now we don't know if they're following patterns or not, or if they're all making it up. That's a huge achievement to do that. But they do
Crazy.
look like the foods, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Where was the one? There was one that had bacon that was
Yes.
criticised.
So
What
there
was
was
that?
two bacons, and I think this leads quite nicely
Oh,
onto your point about it being real, because
yes,
Isaac had bacon in his
that's right.
bagel, and
Yes.
Simon had bacon in his dish. And because Simon was flagged up during the chat on how good it was because he'd used freeform crochet, there is a mixture of doubles and trebles, and it then bent and wobbly. I kind of then knew that, oh, Isaac's probably going to be pulled up on his when they looked at his bacon, because his looked a bit pink, and they were pulling him up on the colour, and I thought, like, saying, don't worry, Isaac, there may not have been an actual bacon colour in the haberdashery. Poor old
Oh,
Isaac.
bless him. I know. It's just, I love that we're just talking about bacon and it's just it's just all crocheted, but we're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know if they can choose their yarn before, get prepared or something.
I think
Um,
they were given their yarn. We didn't see them go into the haberdashery. And looking at the
no, we
emails
didn't.
from DMC, who are Rowan, Wool and the Gang, Serdar, it looks like they
Yes.
have given them a selection of cottons and colours.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
well, if you're doing bacon and there's two types of pinky brown, then you've got to go for one of those. And perhaps poor old Isaac chose the wrong one compared to Simon.
Although, actually, in Isaac's defense, bacon looks different if you fry it to if you grill it, doesn't it?
It
It takes on
does.
a different color. So we didn't get into that debate with
No.
him.
Um,
Anyway,
but
sorry,
it's
like your topic.
no. It's yes. So Isaac's bagel. Should we go to some close-ups of Isaac's bagel? Because I
Yeah, let's
thought
have a look.
this was incredible engineering. To
Well, with his magnets and
Yeah,
everything.
let's go to a close-up. Right, that one there. And let's put it down so we can see us. Look at that. So the magnets were
Yeah.
in these bits here of the
So that it
bagel,
held
so it
together.
could come together.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. But some of the responses were not sure about the bacon, not sure it's the right colour. And then, but he was praised for the brilliant short row shaping
Yeah,
in
lots of
here
maths,
because he had a bit of
Sheila
knitting
said.
and crochet. So that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive for short row
That is
shaping.
good. And I think that's probably what saved him actually this week is that Sheila, in the comments at the end, she was saying that he doesn't finish quite often. Well, he can join my club
Yeah,
on that. But she was, because she's the technical one out of the
yeah.
pair, isn't she? And she was picking up on all the maths and the technique and all the sort of pattern writing that Isaac would have had to do to achieve that. So I think probably, yeah, that kind of lifted him up from the very bottom rung, I think, at the end.
If you look closely there, though, this is what I was talking about before. If you don't go down a needle size and make it a little bit tighter, when you stuff it, your
Yes.
stuffing shows through there. And
Yes.
ultimately, that's what you don't want. So I was a bit disappointed that that terminology or that about amigurumi never came
The,
up in the discussion.
yeah,
Well, not that I heard, it might have done, but I don't recall that ever coming up
I don't remember
or
it
being a
either.
judging
And
point.
yeah, and I think so I've noticed, well, if you compare the way he did that in terms of needle size,
Yeah.
gauge, tension, and all that, with the little explorer's outfit that he
Ah,
made, that was really tight
yeah.
fabric, wasn't it? It's almost like he needed to channel that to get that looking like a really tight piece of
Yes. Yeah.
design. So and I think that would have polished the whole thing off, but it would have been a smaller bagel, I guess, in the time.
Uh,
But
let's look at Holger's, because this had already been shown in the promo of Game of Wool weeks before. There were some little
oh,
snippets, so
okay.
we were waiting for it to come up and find out who was behind it. Let's go to Holger's. Let's do that and pull that down.
So
It was
great.
very clever. Is this
Really
is
clever.
this very clever thinking as well, with working out what food to do and what food will be done quickly in crochet? Let's do noodles.
Noodles, brilliant. I know.
All those
Just really
chains
good.
and double crochets. What do you think?
I love, yeah, a chain, yeah, chains of double crochets. I thought at first that had he knitted an I-cord, but no, that's a really straightforward crochet run, isn't
I
it?
think so, or it might be
Um,
I cord. Not sure. Not sure. But it's very
I just
clever.
think the idea and the construction and the fact that he raised, it's almost like he made himself a surface of the ramen soup, didn't
Yeah.
he, in that bowl, which was very clever because he had less elements to fill that whole deep bowl. So, um, I mean, do they look like prawns?
Well, this is the bit that then got me because they never picked up on him with the use of just maybe doing double crochet for most of his things there, where compared
Well,
to
we didn't hear them pick him up because
oh
with
no,
the loads
true,
we don't hear,
yes, that is
but
true.
they didn't show us that anyway. But if that's what they're using to compare,
Whereas Tracy had lots of elements in her bowl, like Isaac did, and were probably double crochet too. So if
yeah,
we have a quick look at Tracy's, there you see. So I just felt a bit for her. Then it's like, well,
yeah.
yes, they're all double crochet, but that is amigurumi. You don't want to see any stuffing showing through. You use the smaller stitches. I don't know any amigurumi where you use loads of other stitches. So felt a bit torn there with the.
However, all I would say, and Tracy, bless her, I couldn't, I wouldn't look at that and think, oh, it's a bowl of pasta.
No, it's probably the bowl that looks like where you chuck all the kids' toys in at the end of the day.
Or yeah, or it could be sweets
Yes,
or
yeah,
those
true.
what are the brown bits in there? Because they look like cinnamon swirls to
Oh,
me.
they
Oh,
or are
now I'm
they
going
the
to
toffee ones
taste
from
buds.
Quality Street that no one ever wants?
Yeah, maybe. So Tracy could repurpose that as a Christmas decoration, put some tinsel on it.
She got pulled up on her pasta not being in proportion, but that was set right from the beginning. So I kind of understand that feedback.
Yeah.
I think it's Elsa's the one that sort of got me
Hmm.
chucking my knitting needles at the TV. Let's get Elsa's. And then let's bring that down. They said that your Yorkshires look like bowls. Well, I thought they looked like lovely Yorkshires to me. My
They
Yorkshires
look
look like
like
bowls. I fill
lovely,
mine with
perfect
gravy.
little
Do
Yorkshires.
you?
I think they look like proper little Yorkshires. Very sweet.
But
Very sweet.
she was picked up for being too neat. And I'm like, well, that just looks like anyone else's amigurumi.
I
You look
wonder
at
if,
all the others; they all look neat. I
yeah,
don't
but
what they were
I
getting at.
wonder if, so we're into real picky
Okay,
times
well,
now
that's all right.
because um, if you look at the carrots,
Yeah.
they are cute carrots.
Oh,
I
I
mean, they're
see.
just a face away from being included in one of those um, amigurumi books that you
I
get
get you.
full of
It should
little
have
vegetable characters. Do you know what I mean?
been longer.
Rather than she could have put a little point on the end and she could have included a
I
few little
see.
ridges or something. Do you see what I mean? So that's, I do understand that there's a sort of, they were describing it as her perfection, her precision and
Okay.
perfection, she is, it's beautifully made. But I wonder if it's just falling over into the cutesy,
Yep.
cutesy camp.
Totally get that feedback completely. And now I understand because the two Yorkshires are the same. One might be more if it comes out of my oven. Sometimes one's flat as a pancake and
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
bulbous and blowing over. I get you. Now that feedback I completely understand.
Yeah, but I did like the playfulness of this with the gravy coming out. Brilliant, it's just great. So I think it sounded like the judges were being quite negative on Elsa's,
Well,
but actually,
it did.
yeah,
Do you want Di's great quote, which I think,
go on.
sorry, Di, this might haunt you for the whole season. Di says it's not quite real. It needs more abstraction to give it that realism. Oh. I'm sorry, Di.
So I just didn't understand that
It,
at all.
yeah, you need to make it more abstract to make it real. I don't know what you meant there,
I was a
Di.
bit
Sorry.
confused by that. Yeah,
I
I was a bit
suppose, did
confused.
she mean what you were saying? Abstraction, as in different and abstract, like your wonky Yorkshire pudding and your long carrot and your stubby
Yeah,
carrot, and your.
maybe
Do
that's
you think
it.
that's what she was saying?
Yes, because it looks too perfect. So,
So in that
yeah.
respect, it's not real, even though that looks real with a jug. It's not real as it's too perfect.
And actually, if we're going back to the bacon again,
Yeah,
um, Isaac's was very strong. I mean, it was like a more of a rasher, wasn't
it
it?
was. Yeah.
Whereas Simon,
Whereas,
you've got a couple of
yeah,
rashers of back bacon there with all
and
its bobbles and frills. And I think maybe that's. But then if you look at
Lydia's.
Simon's
I'm
sausage,
sorry.
which
Yeah, let's go.
Tom was
Oh
Tom was
yeah, let's go to Simon's
giggling.
close-up, shall we?
Simon's sausage. Yeah, there was a moment that Tom, oh look, it's covered up there.
Good job.
Tom was yeah, Tom was holding the sausage, thinking it was something else. But no, I think there's a sort of look at the little mushrooms. They're a bit different,
They,
and
yeah, and
you know
this is
the
where,
textures that he's got of the swirls in the white of the egg, things
yeah.
like that. So
So should
yeah,
Simon been the one to have won knitter of the week? This is where I'm thinking. It's like now we've
yeah,
criticised and evaluated all these. Was
I
Simon's
know.
actually does his trump Holger's? Did Holger
He
just
was
win because of the clever design of the um,
yeah.
of the chopsticks, which is
Well,
masterful?
well, also it did come in this week to a bit more focus on the big knit, didn't it? So, and they knew who'd done what, and I think they had quite did they say when it came to the big knit there wasn't much in it between the
Yeah,
first and second place? So I don't know. In this little roundup, I think for me, Simon's tops it.
yeah.
But
It,
Holger's is very close
it
with the
has
design
everything.
and structure, but actually for a sort of real, I know that that's a hash brown. I know those are beans.
Yeah,
I
that's a
know
lot of
those are
beans.
rashers of
There's
bacon.
so
I
many
love it.
beans there. Did he crochet them? I can't
I think
see.
was he winding them up? He's
It
like
was
doing a sort of
just
big French
genius.
knot or something.
For someone who has only just started crocheting, I thought that was brilliant. And when you look at that, those all those there, it does just look striking out of them all, I think, doesn't
I
it?
know. Imagine if you went to a restaurant and it was all crocheted food. I'd need a very strong beer to wash it
But
down.
so much creativity.
Yeah.
Holger with those chopsticks, Isaac with the magnets to make that in itself is just a creative
It's
idea. And
great. It is, and I
Elsa's
think
with the
that's
jug.
why we like the show,
Yeah,
isn't it? Because the creativity and the invention, that's all part of
yeah,
it. That's a really strong factor throughout the show. So okay, there might be a bit of stuffing showing.
yeah.
Okay, it might be a bit scruffy or not interesting stitches enough, but the invention and the imagination going on, it's just great to be part of that and be along for the ride with the knitters, I think. That's one of the reasons I think it's great.
Absolutely. How do you think it fits with Texture Week, though? Just your thought.
Uh, well, good question. I suppose, yeah, I mean, I,
What's the thinking there? Do you think of the producers when you look at that?
because
You've got
they're think,
Texture Week, but we're going to
yeah,
give you Amigurumi, which tends to be smooth and all one type of stitch.
yeah,
What's
yeah. Although with some of those animals, and you've got hair and
yeah,
fluff or like the broccoli. There are different stitches used to create different aspects of a food. So I suppose they're thinking it's really little things, it's all achievable in the time,
yeah,
and there's option to, well, look, all of those things like Isaac's done his grains on top of the bagel, and then
and his cheese and his bacon. They had different
Yeah,
textures. But I'm looking at, the others, and I'm thinking, well, it's pretty much the same texture because it is just double crochet
I
or
know.
treble crochet.
I know. So maybe maybe it wasn't the best for texture. Maybe this is another example, producers take note, where they could have they could have,
Yeah,
set
absolutely.
them a mitten, like make up your own cable pattern. You're allowed to use 3 millimeter or
Yeah,
3.5 needles. Here's a ball of cashmere. What are you going to do
yeah.
with it? You
And
know,
maybe they can't do the whole knit, but they could have had, just design the back, what the back would look like, or something.
yeah, I think this is where the expertise and the precision of proper serious challenges, it could be brought a bit closer to the
Yeah,
front, I
yeah.
think. So
Because I'm just thinking, if with my limited knowledge, that if I'm going to do this game, maybe we'll just have crochet week, and then challenge one could be amigurumi stuffed toys, and
yeah.
then you could do something else for the group knit. But there we are. I'm not a
What was
producer.
going back? I can't remember there was one week that was crochet, wasn't
It
it?
was holiday week.
That's right. So
Yeah,
we have had a crochet. So in
yeah.
fact, holiday week
Should have been crochet week.
could have been
Yeah,
crochet
couldn't it?
week, and they could have, yeah.
Yeah. Right, okay. Love chatting about that. Let's move on to the big knit then. The cardigan challenge. I'm going to turn over. They cut.
Get my chunky needles ready.
They cut to a great cutaway of Holger going, oh, head down, when they
I
said,
know, bless
you're
him.
going to create a slouchy cardigan. They've called it the cardigan challenge. But Di says, your chance to create something that has lots and lots of stitches. Create
Yes.
something dynamic. They were told they were going to be adapting a basic cardigan pattern. They had to use a minimum of 3 stitches, 3 stitch techniques, and
Mm.
clear, clean stitch definition. They could only use one colour. We got to see them in the haberdashery at long last. Wasn't that fun?
Amazing. Yeah, I know. I must admit, when I heard the challenge was announced, I just thought, oh, not again. Chunky. And well, they did 80s jumpers,
Yeah.
didn't they? I mean, I know, lots of us knit cardigans, jumpers as a staple, so that's okay. And just get off my high horse. But I thought, yeah, the chunky thing, my heart did drop a little bit, but then they started knitting and it was interesting. And I
We
remembered the Kendall Jenner picture and I thought, oh,
we
hang on a
we
sec.
got to see some knitting for sure. Let's have a look at the concept here. There
Yes,
was the basic cardigan pattern: 5 panels, an arm, a back, and 2 fronts. So that was the idea for them to play around with. They were given stitch dictionaries. You can see it down there. Candidates were seen flicking through. So
yes.
they're not expected to learn everything, and rightly so. You can't know everything. So
No.
they could flick through and choose the stitch. Maybe then there's some controversy there on how poor old Tracy ended up doing a stitch that she perhaps was like, and didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. But let's see the 3 finished knits. Lydia and Simon with the green one on the left, Tracy and Isaac with the middle one, yellow, and Holger and Ailsa with the red one. All finished, done, complete in their
Yeah.
10 hours, which is phenomenal. That's a lot of knitting.
Amazing. Amazing, isn't it? Really. Um, yeah, I like the fact that there's something quite different about each one
Yeah.
of these. Um, I thought we got a better appraisal this week from the judges, and that's just a thing of there being more time because there are fewer
Yes.
contestants. But
You're right.
I was quite pleased to have a little bit more from the judges about what they were enjoying, what they found, technically clever or frustrating, or so that was good.
Well, this seemed quite achievable, really. They've been given a pattern already, so they haven't got to waste time thinking about it and designing it. It's
Yeah,
there, and then all they had to perhaps work out is if it said 16 stitches, how their cable is going to fit within that 16 stitches
yes,
and
yes.
etc. So we were going to get to see their ideas. And I think we did see the ideas coming out through these three pairs, don't you think? Well, look at Tracy and Isaac. We got another smiley face from Isaac. Is this being a thing with Isaac with more? I don't know. Has he done smiley
The
faces before?
intarsia,
Oh,
it was the
Intarsia, yes.
intarsia, wasn't it, that
Yeah,
sort of can't quite put that down. But I don't think it was quite what they were after, really. But for a few dropped stitches on the sleeve, they did really love the fullness of those sleeves, and I think that's maybe when you get a brief and you just think, well, what is this? The brief and the materials that we've been given, what is it what are the properties of this material
yeah,
and how can we push it to the max? So the properties of this uh, material, this yarn, is it's quite structural when you start sort of putting it together, especially if you knit on slightly smaller needles. It's going to be almost like architectural.
yeah.
And
Bulbous, yeah,
so the properties of these different stitches are that it's you can create shapes that will hold. So actually the sleeves on this were a good example of
yeah,
that, in a sense that they're not sort of like this
yeah,
t-shirt thing. It's just like you can't really see the fullness of it because it's so drapey. But with this, they're sort of sticking out on their own
yeah.
because the property of the yarn is it's going to give that volume. So I
It's
think they did well on
They
that.
did, considering they had to make a slouchy cardigan. That's slouch in itself, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
bulbous, it's there, it's bulging.
Yes.
And that lovely
It
cable on the
is.
front, that twist.
Yeah, and I do agree with the judges. Why could that not have been a continuation down the back?
Yeah.
But bless him, Isaac just wanted to put some sort of friendly personality in, and um, you know, there it is.
And it is a team effort. That is, if he's gone because he had the back to do and a sleeve, and Tracy had a sleeve and the two front panels. So you're going to try and make your part influenced by you and what you like doing. He likes this mixture of knits and pearls, as he said, the reverse stocking stitch, having that showing on the front. So you're going to do
Yeah.
what you're going to do, don't you?
Yeah, and I noticed actually in their discussions that and this is where from a design point of view, um, when you're working in pairs or in a team, a less confident person will not push their idea forward. And I wonder if Tracy's confidence in design, she didn't sort of argue
No,
about the smiley
you're right.
face.
It came across as when the stitch was mentioned. I don't think she. It didn't. They certainly didn't show in the edit, did it?
No, no. But I think it's really that is hard in those team
Yeah.
challenges where you get somebody that's a bit more sort of not forceful, but more sort of emphatic, shall we
Yeah.
say, about
Oh, let's
and a
do
less
this. Let's do
confident.
this. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And a less confident person, you say, okay, yeah, let's just do it because you just want to get
absolutely.
cracking. So anyway.
And Holger and Elsa. Now, what a tale this was.
Oh,
Because it's, first of all, a genius idea to get rid of those five panels and turn it
yeah,
into two. So I'm just going to show
yeah,
a picture here to try and explain it. So they were basically making a T shape. You start here cast on and you're knitting upwards, aren't you? And then you're going
yeah.
to cast on and cast on to knit that and then ultimately
Yes.
fold it down.
Fold it
That,
down.
I'm presuming, was Holger, wasn't it? That was just inspired because it
Well, it
saved so
just
much
makes
time.
so much time sewing up, and it just means they can just get in a complete
Yeah,
flow, and they don't have to
yeah.
stop and think.
Because look at that wonderful pattern that Ailsa's done.
Just
It's
yeah,
just gone on and on and
yeah,
on, and then
yeah.
with her increases down here, it's just carried on again.
Now, Stuart, you know I keep mentioning continuity,
Yeah.
and
Oh, did
so
you
when you've
spot
got
something?
well, no, just the
Oh,
just
right.
that what you've just said about that
Oh,
pattern and
yes.
the fact that you know they collaborated
Yeah.
beforehand. They chose their stitches that they liked and that they wanted to do, and then there's enough on the garment that there's continuity in the sense that one starts here, one starts here, and they knit,
Yeah.
and so it looks it looks confident because it's all doing the same
Yeah.
thing and it
Yeah.
changes at the same point.
Yeah.
And you know, I just felt like even though there's two different people and a lot of different stitches, it's so I just think it's so well the continuity in it just
Absolutely.
works for me.
Well, they had four lots of stitches because they were able to have a front so for Ailsa's sleeve, she had one T with one set of stitches, the other T with this other set of stitches, and then
Yeah,
whatever they wanted up the middle, and the same with Holger. It was brilliant.
yes.
And then, of course, the mistake, or not, as it were.
I
Remember, the judges
know.
aren't there. Holger, with that pressure of the three needle Kitchener stitch, sorry, just happened to get them the wrong way round. But it
Yeah.
still works because it's so textured. You wouldn't know if that knit was supposed to be that side or not because knits are often reversible, aren't they? All the time.
Well, and I think this was a nice sort of a lit extra chunk of judging that
Yeah,
we didn't expect, where you could it was really nice to follow in real time the judges as they spotted that, tried to work it
yeah,
out, tried to reason with whatever was going on here, and they were enjoying the knit way before Holger actually did fess up that it
yeah,
was a
yeah.
mistake, which was really nice. It's like, okay, just let's roll with it. Let's roll with the mistake and the unexpected. So,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
I'm
but
I'm hoping
yeah,
the producers never, you know, because sometimes on the sewing bee, I think, oh, I reckon the producers told Esme that there's a little hole there, so Esme goes and finds it. I'm
yeah,
hoping the producers didn't say anything, so the judges came and looked at it. Because with knitting, yes, when you're knitting flat, you have a right side and a wrong side because you
yeah,
have to do the wrong side to get back to the right side again.
yeah,
But actually, it just the wrong side of a knit is a pearl. There's nothing wrong about a pearl. You might want to
no,
visibly show the pearl. So that's why this works so well because there's so many textures going on. You're just
I
seeing
know,
a different side of the stitch. It doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. So
no,
it as they said, how fun is it? Because it is then reversible. You could keep swapping it
playful.
around. Playful,
Playful is the
absolutely.
word they use. But I think, yeah, it's a really it, it's a feast of stitches, isn't
It
it,
isn't it?
really? Because because the fact it's reversible, and not just have they got four stitches, but then you turn it inside out, there's another four
Yeah,
different effects that you've
absolutely.
got there. So it's an absolute feast.
Absolutely. And they still had
Yeah,
time to do
lovely.
that tassel on the front. I
Woohoo!
know.
Little very nice.
And then obviously Lydia and Simon, we'll talk about them because there's only three. Maybe the safest. They had Lydia doing the body, Simon doing both sleeves. They had a cable stitch on the same cable stitch on the front and the back, and then honeycomb for the arms. I love it. Looks striking. I love that cable on the front panels.
Yeah, it looks really good. I love how they got the little thumb holes in there.
Yeah, that's a nice design
Cozy,
point.
lovely winter warmer.
Yeah.
I think what suffered for them this on this one was the all that cabling, the honeycomb on the sleeves. It just brought the
Yes.
circumference of the sleeves really
Yeah.
tight, didn't it? I mean, you know, some people might
I
like that,
I'd prefer
but
that. I don't want a
yeah,
slouchy cardigan. I'd like a tight fitted one.
but the brief was slouchy.
Yeah. It was.
So
Yeah, completely
so
agree.
actually that's just a thing of, if you've not done that stitch before, you haven't really got time to swatch, have you, and
No.
check it out and work out, okay, I'm going to need to do an extra 10 stitches in this cast on or
Indeed,
whatever.
and that's down to experience. If you were looking through that
Yeah.
stitch catalogue, which Lydia, all the contestants would have done, you might go,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm not going to do honeycomb because that really does pull in."
Well, I wonder if now I'm intrigued about what their little stitch what's it called? Stitch
Well,
reference
I call
book.
it a stitch dictionary. A stitch dictionary. They've
Yes,
taken them out of a book,
yes.
and where is it? And they gave them in a folder. There you go, because that's where
I wonder if
Ailsa chose her waffle stitch, and look, the seersucker stitch that Holger chose.
um it just makes me think what would be really helpful to add into that little stitch dictionary when you're one of those knitters and you're pushed for time at the start of a challenge. And what would be really great is if there was some reference in there that would say on a 10 millimeter needle, you get, when you get your
Oh,
gauge swatch.
yes, yeah, yeah,
But they can't do, then it's not a universal stitch dictionary. It would be very
yeah.
specific for the challenge, but that's just me.
But our final judging took place, and the results were in third place Lydia and
Yeah.
Simon. And then we were. Oh no! Oh
No,
no!
no,
What?
no,
No!
no.
Take that back. Sorry, Lydia and Simon.
Take it back.
So not.
Third place. Come on,
Yes,
Stuart.
sorry, sorry. Forget that ever happened. Can't edit that out.
Third place because it wasn't wearable
Yes,
because of
the
the
drop
drop stitches,
stitch.
which is a real
Yeah.
shame.
And then it was going to be right. Are we penalising Holger and Ailsa for being stitched wrong and inside out, or actually does it really work when you consider it as a garment and texture? And
Yes.
so they gave second place to Lydia and Simon
Yeah.
at first. And I think that was the right call, don't you?
Yeah. I think so. Because there were a couple more negative points about the green one
Yeah.
with the way uh what did they call it?
Oh, the
The cable
welt. Yeah,
yeah,
the
how it just
eyelet above the
yes, that's
welt
right.
just pushed it out a bit, didn't it?
It
Yeah.
just played with the shaping of the garment a bit. So that's where it just came down a little bit. So, but yeah.
And
Congratulations, Holger and Elsa.
absolutely. So there we go into who's got what and their knitter of the week. Then I thought, yes, they're going to give it to Simon. Come on, yeah,
He was so
I
wanting
know.
his
I thought they'd be.
little sheep.
I thought they'd be fair. Like the teacher does. No one ever comes last. We're going to try and give everyone a badge. Because they keep talking about these badges now and putting pressure on them. And
Oh,
they gave it to Holger.
Holger. Congratulations,
Well done,
Holger.
Holger. You've got two badges there now. There we are. We're at week 5.
Yeah.
Holger's got 2. Lydia, Isaac, Elsa got 1. And it was then obvious who was going to go. And it was Tracy.
Yeah,
Because of
bless
those
her.
stitches, drop
Oh,
stitches, and her pasta, bowl of
no.
pasta.
No, well, thank you, Tracy. You've been a joy to watch, and yeah, we
Absolutely.
wish Tracy all the best and
Oh,
look forward to seeing
and a
more of her
laugh.
knits.
We're going to miss a laugh, aren't we?
Yeah, 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 yeah. A fab person to have
Yeah,
in the mix.
yeah. And I'll always remember Tracy for, come on, Tom. She was telling him to shut up. Go take a dive. Brilliant.
They're so good. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
Brilliant. Well, there we go. That was week 5. And if we just go back to that little diagram, we can see we've got week 6, which will technically be the quarter final, and then week 7, the semi final, because week 8 will be the final. We're guessing, I am assuming it's going to be sewing bee format, but it
yes.
could be different. We might not have 3 people left. I don't know what they'll do, but that's what I'm guessing. So Hence,
Yeah, I mean, probably it'll probably be something like that. I can't believe we're
I
at
know.
this point already.
Yeah,
It's just
it's an eight
just
week
whizzing by.
run, and we're now coming up to week 6 next week, which will
Yeah,
be what do they call it? Knitted jewelry. What do you
I missed that.
what do you think about that?
Well, um, this is me taking it too seriously now, but there are people out there who knit with wire, with silver wire and that sort of thing, and make the most exquisite knitted jewelry. So I'm gonna guess we're not talking knitted wire and
No,
precision. We might be, I don't know. But knitted jewelry, yeah, it's
chunky,
probably gonna be, I
elaborate,
just I
cool.
just think brace yourself, everyone. It's going to be a hoot.
It's
It's not, it's going to be playful. It's going
I
to be big chunky
they're going to be
beads.
channeling their Esme, I think. Do you
Yeah,
think? And then
probably.
it's lace work, what looked like lampshades. So we can have beautiful, exquisite lace work
Okay.
where the
That
light
could
shows
be
through. That would be
that could be
beautiful.
interesting. Well, this is where I hope that if that is the case, are they going to channel some really beautiful uh what would be really great in this series more broadly is more of what we said in one of our before it aired shows. The production company makes they do a lot of natural history stuff, which those kind of programs have some really gorgeous photography in them with beautiful
Absolutely.
lighting
Yes.
and depth of field.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it just be great, Stuart, if in this series we had a bit more of the most beautiful, mouth-watering knits
Completely agree.
shot,
I know.
gorgeous, 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 and just a bit more of that sort of
We You're
yeah.
right. We've not had any of that. And for a company that is in that line, where are those beautiful slow mo shots of the finished product? Where are
Yeah,
those
I
cool, as you say,
know.
the depth of field changes and the
Or
blurred
even
background? We haven't got much of that at all. It's
And I suppose it is a call on, well, we haven't got many minutes to feature all of the the people, but I'm sort
yeah.
of thinking, I suppose, Gone Fishing, Reeves and
Oh
Mortimer.
yeah,
I just love
yeah,
that show. But they've realized that people really love those long shots of a
yeah,
little dragonfly
yeah.
or a drip coming. It's
Absolutely.
the slow
Yeah,
telly.
yeah,
So maybe there is room here. This is where I do have a lot of
yeah.
sort of sympathy with the people who've not been enjoying it so much because we do just want to see the beauty in the yarn,
I
don't we?
completely agree. I would cut an awful lot of the conversation out. I found a lot of repetition. Tom will say what the challenge is, cut to Di, who then says it, and then once they've all gone, there's a voiceover of Tom saying it again. It's like, come on, we don't need 3 repetitions of what the
No.
challenge is all about. And I was watching it with my other half last night, because it's Monday, we're recording. And I said to him, I said, do you want to see more knitting? Because I want to see more knitting. I don't want all this gossip and all these conversations. I want to see more knitting. And he actually said,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I just want to see the end product. He's not a crafter
Oh,
in the slightest.
no.
He just
Okay.
wants to see the end product. So he's
The
looking
end
forward to
bit.
seeing what they create. And that, I
Yeah.
think, marries with what you're saying with the photography. Show us the end result, wow us, but wow us with some really cool photography. Get a better shed. Wherever they're filming their end results, get a better shed and
Yeah.
get a better background, as you say, where you could draw focus, you could zoom in, you could pan around
Yeah.
and show off the
But
exquisite work. Show off that texture more.
this is also where I get like we're getting into it now, aren't we?
Yes,
Because
yeah,
this is where the exquisite shots and it's like more like the jewelry show
yeah.
where if they'd have made a little perfectly created tiny gauge Fair Isle mitten and then you get to see that,
Oh,
I can see, look, your
yeah,
reaction there,
yeah,
see what I
yeah.
mean?
Well,
And I think that's understandably what
yeah.
people are upset about.
y-
And maybe, love Tom, national treasure with his gold medals, but we maybe don't need to see so much of Tom
I
if
think
you
so.
want to see the
Yeah,
knitting, but it's fun having Tom.
I
Oh,
know.
I can see the production
Yeah,
company. You can sort of see this playing out. They don't know what
yeah.
to put emphasis on.
I oh yeah, in my wool patch shows that I do monthly, when I do my show starter and I prance around my garden in a finished knit,
Yeah,
I do so many what I think are cool slow-mo close-ups and pan
they're
pulls
lovely.
because
Yeah,
we want to show off the work, don't we? And we want to celebrate the work, whether it's me knitted it or whether it's Irene knitted it. You want to
yeah.
show it off to make people go, "Oh my god, I want to
I
knit that," and that's what we want, and we're not quite
yeah.
getting enough of it, are we?
No, it's majoring on the time,
Yeah,
on the speed, the chunkiness,
yeah.
and that this is where I do have a lot of sympathy for the people who haven't been enjoying the show so much. But,
You make a very valid point, though, Lizzie, with the company's background. And I remember we did talk about that, didn't we, on one of our early
yeah,
shows. Very good point. It's not the right terminology, but it's like knitting porn, isn't it? it's just, it's where you just go, oh, I do when I watch my YouTube, other YouTube creators. I watch content creators that do like camera
yeah,
packs or they're
this,
hiking up a
yeah,
mountain. Oh my God, they've got drone shots going
yeah.
over, they've got slow mo. And
Oh,
you're like, I want to go to this Lake Superior in Minnesota. It's like,
yeah.
oh dear.
I want to go to Iceland.
Right. Should we give away some amigurumi? Right.
Yeah, come on, spin the
These
wheel.
are tiny little packs, 100 grams, beautiful colours. And we're going to give away as many as we can in well, we've got 10 packs. Let's give away as many as we can in the time that we've got. Here we go.
Go on, spin,
Spin.
spin, 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 sugar.
My pink bathtub Diane.
Well done, Diane.
So there we go.
What does she say?
Um, I enjoyed the fancy dress competition. Simon did amazing considering he's not a crocheter. I did hope the toddlers would model, but I suppose. Oh, I loved that bit when they were out in the garden though, and they were showing us the toddlers having fun. Right, spin again.
Yeah, spin again.
Pack two. So that's off to my pink bathtub. We've got them all. Get the next one out.
Jen
Gen
Textiles.
Textiles. Hi both, love the reviews. Not a lot in my world is fit for purpose, my crocheting effort being the prime suspect. I'm process, not product. Yeah, totally get it. Come on,
Well, you've got some crochet yarn to practice on there, Jen.
pick a new one. Here we go. Let's delve,
Go.
delve down into my pack. This is pack three. Let's give 5 away. Who's going to get
You're like Santa.
Hazel? Hazel's won again. She won a couple of weeks ago. Hazel.
Oh,
There you go.
Hazel.
You've got another one in your because I can post these as large letters, so they don't cost too much. So I don't mind
Right.
picking.
What does Hazel say?
Oh, I've gone
Oh,
on. She said nice things.
never
I'm
mind.
sure. Sorry, Hazel. You're a winner, Hazel. Pack number 4. RCB Piccolo. I did really like the crayon costume. The back stitch is messy up close, but far away, it's really legible. I thought it was cute. Yeah, yeah.
There you
There you
go.
go. And one more. Here we go. 5th winner. And then the rest, this is all from Katia. Thank you, Katia. The rest, I think I'll treat customers who walk into my shop
Yes.
and give people who purchase at local yarn shops. Emily Clark, thanks for another great Unravelled. I'm also hoping for a bit more knitting next week. Oh, well, that's this week. You didn't get much. Sorry, Emily. You got more crochet. There
Oh,
we are.
maybe some little amigurumi friends for the Christmas tree
Oh,
are on their way with some of those packs.
oh I feel wonderful now. I got that just that
Good.
little amigurumi thing off my chest. But now, when you look at what they create, let's remember that they are
Oh, I
creating
know.
awesome work in such short time, and
It's still hours and
yeah,
hours of work that's gone into entertaining us on a
yeah.
Sunday night and warming our cockles. Tracy, quite literally, crocheting her cockles.
Oh, brilliant! Yes. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. And we love your comments. If you're still watching, we love your comments. We do read them. And when we get time, we reply to them too. But we do all read them.
Yeah.
It's keeping that conversation going. We love your opinions. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't. But it's a lovely community who are making, you are making. Some of you have been inspired too. Don't forget to go and support local. Go and support your local yarn shop. Lizzie, when are you next at your local yarn shop?
I'm there in the morning, actually.
Oh,
As we record, it's Monday
yeah.
night. So Tuesday morning, I'm going to be in the shop each Tuesday between now and Christmas.
Oh,
So
brilliant. Oh, go and smush
have a
that
little squidge.
yarn.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you week 6
Yes.
for Jewelry Week or whatever they're calling it. It's going to be
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Enjoyed your company.
Happy 1st of December, everybody. And
Yes.
thank you
Pinch,
so much for
pinch
joining
punch.
us. And we'll see you next
Definitely.
time.
Bye.